white is food-safe plastic. The plastic that the Tower Garden is made of is UV stable. It's BPA free. These are things people are looking about now. Paulo talked about the Gen Y generation. They're concerned about the environment. The resins that are used are compliant with FDA standards, not only in the United States, but in Europe and Canada. And Europe and Canada, and like Australia, are more stringent than the United States. So the Tower Garden is a thing that's simple, it's built for the future, and it's going to maintain itself for years to come. We've just had it for, what, 3-4 years now, and it looks as good now as it did when we first got it. The tonic that we use, people say, well, can I put Miracle-Gro in that thing? Well, I guess you could. I wouldn't advise it, but, you know, you buy a gasoline car, you put diesel fuel in it. I mean, that makes sense to me. What I use, and I tell them, what I use is what is specifically designed for the Tower Garden. That's the Tower Tonic. It's a superior plant food for better nutrition. It contains all the 15 minerals that plants need. Not every plant needs every mineral, but it's all there for whatever you want to plant. It's a pH balanced blend of natural plant nutrients that delivers the best product to the roots for the best growth. I talked to a professional landscaper. He looked at it and he goes, wow. I analyzed it. He said, there's nothing better on the market than the Tower Tonic. He goes, I can't believe it's that much on the cutting edge. I could not duplicate that if I tried. And you only charge X amount, depending on how much you buy. He said, you could charge twice that amount and still have a product that is underpriced for what the quality that you get. So just remember that, okay? One other factor, the seedlings. One other little tip, when you start your seedlings, whether you start them from the seeds themselves, or you buy seedlings, if you start them from seeds, you ever hear of this warming mat? A little warming mat. You can put your seedlings on this warming mat. Seedlings sprout quicker when they're warm. They don't need a lot of sunlight initially. But you put them on a little warming mat, you put a 1/4 inch of water. Don't sit there and drown your seedlings with 1 inch of water because it'll rot, all right? Put a 1/4 inch of water. You want to keep them moist. You want to put them on that warming mat. They sprout. Then you bring them out to the sunshine. So these are a couple of little tips that I found to be very helpful. But someone who really has some great tips for you, Bobby Dunn. I want to have Bobby come and share a few things with you, please.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hi, Bobby. Hi, everybody. How are you? You know, I live here in St. Louis. A lot of people ask about growing things here in St. Louis, and I'm here to tell you that I've been a successful gardener for 4 years. Now, that is amazing, isn't it? Because before that, the best I could do was get volunteer plants. You know, like when you spit a watermelon seed across the lot and it grows for you the next year. Well, that was my experience. Well, anyway, thanks. So the pictures that you're going to see are my towers. And so one of the things that I wanted to do was, if I was going to garden, I wanted to have fun. So I've discovered that I can grow at just about any place. Norma and I found an inexpensive greenhouse, and I found out that I could grow a garden in the snow. That was exciting. That was, you can see the footprints going back and forth getting the produce. Wow. Then I went to conference, and I had fun there, because I found out that with grow lights, I could grow it inside, but more importantly, I could grow it in my kitchen, and I love to cook. And so what would be a better place than to have a garden in your kitchen? Then this year, I thought, you know what? My neighbor spends lots of time watering her flowers. What if I was to grow a tower of flowers? And so she spends at least 2 hours a day, if not more, and I go have fun with my friends. So anyway, that's just a wonderful thing. The other thing is, I can't do this by myself. I need a lot of resources, and these are some of the resources that I use. First and foremost is the Resource Center on our Tower Garden website. If you're not using it, I encourage you to, and thanks to Juice Plus for making that available to us. The other thing is that we have a Tower Garden chat. Those people really like to talk about And then the Facebook for distributors, Tower Gardens. This is where you get your personal questions answered. But the other thing is you get to share your wins and your wows. And my Tower Garden of Flowers this year was a big wow on that Facebook page. Also, your seedling providers like Living Towers and ATL Urban Farms, they have resources to help you out tremendously. And the other thing that I wanted to mention too, that's that if you're not seeing it, get a hold of the Juice Plus company, because you should be receiving a Tower Garden news in your email box. And you could forward that if you wanted to prospective customers. And last but not least, you know, Susie mentioned it, Jay Martin says it all the time, is that my Tower Garden was no different than me. It needed a buddy. So I started with one, then two, and then finally the Garden of Tower here of Flowers. And so then the last thing, and I just want to say, is a big huge thanks to my team, because one of the things that they're doing is they're sharing it with their customers. They're going into schools. I've gone to a nursery. So just a huge thanks to them. And you're going to share now about the kids, right? All right. This is Kelly Ashton.
Good morning. I just wanted to start by telling you guys all I'm a teacher. I went with my friend Laura to see Stephen Ritz speak about Tower Gardens, and it changed my life. I walked up to him ahead of time and asked him, because I had a vision of getting towers in my school but didn't know how to go about it and make it more than just, oh, the kids can eat some healthy food. And he said, you have to think bigger. You have to think it's more than healthy eating. He inspired me and really made me realize that it's reading and math and science and social studies. And it just blew my mind. He blew my mind. So did anyone here see him? So he was my inspiration. He talked about it's an indoor field trip. This tower was in my school, and the kids got to walk by it every single day. Instead of going on a field trip that takes a whole day away from learning, I mean, you're there. It costs a lot of money. This was in my school every day. My kids walked over to it and talked about it. They wrote stories about it. They took pictures with their iPads and came up with the coolest thing. They were testing the pH for me. Second graders testing the pH. And, you know, the broccoli's here, and can I have lettuce? So it was just incredible. So I bought this with money I received from a grant, a garden grant, and made a presentation and talked to an administrator in my district and said, can we get 3 more of these? And I came up with a lot of passion and a lot of excitement, and he said, sure, I'll buy you whatever you want. And so I'm getting, now we already got the 4 towers with the lights and everything. And he wants them in every building in my district. He said that the passion and enthusiasm was incredible. And I mean, the tower sells itself. If you can get someone to listen to you, and you can talk about how beneficial it is for the students, they can't really say no. I mean, it was just incredible. So here's a little girl, and this is what happened on a daily basis. The kids would walk up to the tower, just beg to touch it. Special needs kids absolutely loved it. Kids who had never eaten lettuce before or kale, they were eating that for the first time. And my favorite thing is how much the kids loved it and how they would ask me to pick the lettuce and pick the kale. There's my class, and they're all happily eating lettuce. There was no dressing. There was nothing, no fruit to eat it with. They were just eating off the tower. And at the end, I bet about 400 kids walked past the tower the morning and the afternoon, and they begged me for lettuce. And you would have thought I was giving away candy or money, but instead it was lettuce and kale. Those are the only things we had growing at the time. And at one point, we had healthy snack time in my class. And these kids who kind of low income, didn't have a healthy snack, said, can we get something off the tower? And I said, sure, I think there's only kale left. And they were like, that's okay. So they came back with a handful this big of kale, eating it raw. As I'm reading to them, and I almost started crying because I'm like watching these little kids who are probably not getting enough nutrition eat kale every single day. They'd be like, can I go to the tower? And then more and more kids were like forgetting their snack. To eat off the tower, and this one time, I will not forget, boy had a leaf I did not recognize. I'm like, honey, what is that? He's like, I don't know. Well, he was eating broccoli leaves. And he's like, in between his bites, he's like, this is good. So the other kids are eating broccoli leaves. I mean, it was the funniest thing, but no one would believe, and my principal keeps telling everybody she knows that she stands at the same door where the Tower Garden is, and she said, no one believes her when the kids walk in the morning and say, can I please have a piece of kale? And we rip off, I mean, it kept regenerating, thank goodness, because the kids were eating it every single day, and they would stop and be like, you're the Tower Garden teacher, right? I'm like, yeah, that's me. So it's just been incredible. So you gotta get someone to listen to, you gotta be passionate, and you gotta show them how meaningful it is to get these kids to talk about it. In closing, the really cool thing is, the next day the kids will come to school and say, my mom and dad went to that website, because I had my cards. My mom and dad were looking at that, and I told them we need a tower. I would eat more vegetables if we just had a tower. So a couple people have purchased towers, but I think that, you know, it was just at the end of the school year when all this was happening. And now when I kick off the school year Monday, we're going to have all 4 towers going. And we have a lot of parent involvement, so I think as they come in and see what we have, it's just going to be amazing. So please contact me however you can. I can share my presentation with you that got me the 3 towers. So,
thank you so much. Well, it's eating with passion. We have a purpose and we have a mission. So thank you, everyone.